Villa fans, next time you sit in your seat at Villa Park, you'll be cheering the lads on to try and get into Europe. Compare that to how you felt last time you were sat in your seat at Villa Park. Up the Villa. Hello and welcome to Up the Villa podcast. So if you're new, please subscribe, you'll help us grow. And if you listen to us on Spotify and iTunes, why not subscribe to us as well on YouTube? So Everton coming up, games coming thick and fast now to the end of the season. Can't believe that this is the first game of the season against Everton. Absolutely crazy that we've still got to play them twice. But they're having like a real decent season as well. Me and Justin and most of us on the screen have just been watching the under-18s absolutely destroy Newcastle, and there's some players in there that are going to be absolute quality players for Villa. We'll get onto them in a second, but I just thought I'd give them a little shout out to how well they're playing as well. So we've got Everton coming up. Justin, thoughts on Everton this season?
Yeah, I think they've recruited well in the summer. I think the James Rodriguez signing was a master stroke, although, to be fair, his form has dropped off a lot, hasn't it, in the second half of the season? But he started like an absolute steam train for him, looked an absolute bargain buy. And he's a quality footballer, isn't he? They've got a forward that's just banging the goals in, a bit like Watkins, really. He's having a bit of a breakthrough season. He's got, 14, 15, I think, and also made his England debut. I think Southgate possibly could be choosing between the two of them come the Euros, although today I think it has been said that they can take another 3 players, so that might be interesting. So we might get Watkins and Calvert-Lewin in the squad. They're a good side. They've been up and amongst it most of the season. I've just been looking, actually. They've dropped away a bit just lately. I think 2 losses, 3 draws and 1 win the last 6. So their form isn't, brilliant. So we're coming into it pretty similar, really. Players are out of form. They've dropped down the table a bit. We're trying to regain a bit of form and regain a bit of momentum. So again, Jack looks like he's going to be missing. So it's going to be another tough game against them. And we've got to play them again pretty much soon after, within the next month. So we're going to see a lot of them lately. It's a difficult game, isn't it, to call? I mean, it's on the day, fine margins. If we get the odd break here and there, I'm hoping we can get a win and really and give ourselves that boost that we're all desperate now for to give the end of the season a bit of positivity that we really want now, don't we? 3 points would be absolutely magnificent against Everton on Saturday night. So I'm looking forward to it.
I think massive news for Everton, apart from the football as well, is that, they've got that new stadium coming, which is going to be massive for them. I think, if anyone's ever been to Goodison, they've still got the little pillars in some of the stands
wooden
as well.
Seats.
So,
wooden seats, yeah.
They must be buzzing that they've got a new stadium coming, but just wonder whether it's going to halt their progression slightly on the field, by the signings that they're going to be making, obviously, because they've got to purchase that stadium as well. Aaron, what are your thoughts on us going into Everton?
Yeah, I'm confident, quietly confident. I think, mate. I think we need to be playing teams like Everton more regularly, because I think they challenge us, and when a team challenges us and gives us that opportunity to step up a level, I feel like often we do that. I think for a lot of us, and most of us, do with that positive this weekend and that turning up and putting in a real performance. I feel like Everton are a club that are kind of one step ahead of where Villa would like to be, and I think Villa are trying to get to is that point where it is a bit more consistent. And although Justin's right, Everton have dipped off slightly. They are a team that no other team really wants to play, and they play some great football. They got some great players. They got a quality manager who knows this level very, very well, and I'm looking forward to it. I would love us to play teams like Everton week in, week out, mate. I really get nervous when we get those minnow teams or those teams that are fighting relegation and we really should be beaten, and we turn up and we don't. So I feel like Everton is a real chance for us to go out there and really show what these boys are capable of. We've seen it. We saw it for the first 3-4 months of the season. There's no doubt that these boys can play with or without Jack Grealish. And I think Everton is a great chance for us to do that on Saturday. So I'm quietly confident, but Everton are a good side and they can turn up and put in a hell of a performance. You know, we've all seen them do that this season. They've got some quality players. And we just have to get it right, mate. And I feel like we will. I feel like West Brom, you know, that equaliser against them may have given us that little bit of spark. I hope we try something different. And if we do, I think we can give Everton a game, you know.
Definitely, mate. Buzzing for the game, really. Ryan, what are your thoughts then?
Yeah, you made a great point there about us reaching Everton's level, because you think back to last season, we went Goodison around this time, wasn't it, when we was deep in the shit, and Everton had just petered off, really. They were like on the beach, and they ended up finishing 12th. But this season, they've stepped it up, haven't they? And they've had a great start to the season. They have wobbled a bit lightly, but they're still only 6 points off the Champions League. And optimistic Everton fans out there will be thinking, we've got a game in hand, albeit it's against the Villa. But, you know, they're in the mix, aren't they? And they're definitely in the mix for the top 7 for Europe. So it's been a really good season for them. Like Justin says, Dominic Calvert-Lewin's come on really well. Pickford's going to want to end the season on a high as well, isn't he, with the Euros? So Everton have got plenty to play for, and hopefully we can just turn up there with confidence, with a bit of swagger, no pressure on us. You know, the pressure's on Everton, really. And you think back Southampton last season when they had no pressure on them, and they finished the season really strong. So it'd be great to harvest some of that confidence and just go and attack them. And I think you've made a really great point there, Luke, about the stadium as well. Similar to Tottenham and Everton, you know, they've put massive funds into these stadiums, and now we could be in a chance to strike now, because we're going to sort of be competing with them team for these top transfers, aren't they? And where we've got a pile of dough in the bank, debt free, these guys have plumped those into the stadium, so it could be a great time to strike.
Definitely. So we'll move on. A couple of questions from the viewers and listeners to do with us and how we're going to be approaching the game. So Kinetic has put, do you think Keenan should start? And if so, which position? Alongside Watkins, or move Watkins to the wing? Aaron?
Yeah, I mean, I said it against before we started playing West Brom. I really, really hoped that Keenan would start up top with Ollie. I think we need to go back to a 4-4-2. We haven't got the wingers at the moment performing consistently enough to play that 4-3-3 with Ollie on his own up top. And I really think Keenan makes a big difference to Ollie's play. You know, Ollie's played all season. He's not knackered, but he's tiring. He's doing a hell of a lot of work up there. He's a quality player, but he's just not filling that whole fulfillment up the top there. And I think Keenan can be a huge help to him. So I'd love to see Keenan start. You know, what else has the boy got to do? He comes on and he makes a difference in enough games for the last 10, 15 minutes. Came on and got the equaliser when, quite frankly, we weren't good enough on against West Brom. You know, he comes on and he puts his foot in and gets us the equaliser. So I'd love to see Keenan start. I don't think, although I believe Ollie could play on the wings or out wide, I don't want to see him there. You know, I think he deserves to keep his place up top, but just give him a bit of a helping hand, give him a little bit of muscle, you know. And yes, Keenan's not the Pele goal scorer of the club. He's never going to be that, but he certainly offers us a hell of a lot more than what Ollie does on his own, trying to do both things. So yeah, Keenan up top for me, 4-4-2, and go with that, mate. We've got to start changing it up. And like you said before, you know, we've got nothing to lose now. Let's try some games at 4-4-2. You know, let's stop trying to put players in positions that they don't play just to be stubborn and stick to a formation that we want to play as. Let's try something different, see how it works. We've got nothing to lose. Pressure's off. Let's go out there and perform as best as we can, you know?
I actually think the way we're playing at the minute suits Keenan Davis more than, and this might sound mad, it suits us more than playing Volley Watkins at times. But on Saturday or Sunday when we played West Brom, Target played really well. He was whipping them balls in how many times? Now that game suits Keenan Davis to me. And he's coming on, he's changing the games for us. The last few times he's come on, he's been tremendous. You know, he had 3 chances against West Brom in 10 minutes. So for me,
You're right.
Keenan has got to start. Justin?
Yeah, I think everyone makes very good points as usual. The reason I wouldn't go with 4-4-2, which is slightly different to Aaron, is that, like he said, our wingers aren't really performing at the moment. And I think if you do slip into a 4-4-2, you're then solely relying on your two wingers to feed the front two. Whereas I think Smith does like the 4-3-3, and I know he's stubborn. I know that's one of the things that gets thrown at him, that he's stubborn. He doesn't change things. But I do think going into next season, that's what we will be playing. So the only reason I would stick with the 4-3-3 is because I think if and when we do sign another striker, to be able to play Ollie in one of the front three roles, which is either left or right, gives Smith the opportunity to keep him in the side. Like you say, he certainly doesn't deserve to be left out of the side. And I definitely think Davis needs to be a run in the team. He's done more than enough now to get a couple of 3 starts. But I don't think we've got the wingers to play 4-4-2. Whereas if you stick Davis up top as your focal point, as your number 9, Ollie can almost play off him, which Jack really does anyway when he plays on the left-hand side. And then you've just got to fill that other sort of front of the front three on the right-hand side, which you've got, we've still got a couple of players that can play there, Traore and El Ghazi. And you're relying on one of them to have a good day. But I think that's where we are at the moment. For me, it's key to give Davis a little run in the team now. It's ideal. I've said it for weeks. He's got to start, regardless of, if we went 4-4-2, I'd be happy as long as Davis is in the team. 4-4-3, 4-3-3, happy as long as Davis is in the team. I think Watkins, I think he would be happy to try playing out there. He might not be his ideal position, but as I say, when we go over the next season, the season after that, Watkins is a massive integral part of us going forward, but we are going to only improve with the squad. So when we improve our squad, he's not going to be automatic first choice in that role. So to be able to play another 2 or 3 different positions within the setup, it will only benefit him going forward as well. And it will give us all options, which is what we want. We want options all over the pitch, don't we?
Yeah,
Definitely.
absolutely.
So we'll go with this question is from avfc for life. Who's a player you would like Villa to sign most in the summer? And then we'll go to this one off Gary Plaza. He's in here again.
Gary?
He's put, with Pep's recent statement on Luiz and the possibility to activate the release clause, then who would you sign to replace him? For me, it would be Basuma from Brighton. Start off with Ryan, then we'll go all the way around. So basically, one signing would you like us to sign? And then just maybe touch on Luiz. Then Ryan?
Yeah, I think I said it in the last podcast, just that nasty general. I think we need a boss man in the middle just to break the play up, be that nasty side of the team. And I also feel we need creativity badly. It's glaringly obvious, isn't it? Jack's out and the creativity's gone. So we need someone in that side that can share the load with him and also cover him if he's out injured. So I think they're the main areas, and possibly a striker as well.
Aaron?
So for me, I think Basuma's a great shout. I totally agree with the masses and what Ryan's just said. We need a midfield general. We currently haven't got a midfield general. We've got great players that are doing an okay job. We don't have a man that we can really anchor that midfield and make sure that the other two can go and have some fun. Currently, we haven't got that. So I'd like to see a Basuma type character. And we say from Fulham is another top prospect. I think, he's a solid player. Someone like Ndidi at Leicester, that sort of esque player, I think would be quality. It wouldn't be Ndidi because Leicester are flying, but someone of that kind of esque.
Yeah.
And we need something in that number 10 free role position. I think we've got to go really all out, and we've got to get a player of Jack Grealish's quality, and we've got to spend some big money to ensure that we have that presence when Jack maybe one isn't about, or two to add to Jack's quality, so that we have that complete area covered at the front there behind the top men, whether that's one striker or two. I do feel like another striker needs to come in the summer as well. There's obviously names being thrown about. My heart says I want someone like Tammy, someone big, sturdy, number 9, traditional kind of number 9. But I feel it would be another Watkins type player who has that flexibility, who has that adaptability about him to be able to play wherever across that front three if needed, like Ollie has that as well. Right now, he's not doing that because Ollie's his main man. But when another main man comes in, I think that capacity would be there to do that. So, yeah, for me, an anchor man, definitely a number 10 / free roll position, a striker, and then 2 wingers. Obviously, we need 2 wingers. You know, the quality that we have on the wings isn't there to take us up to the next level. And as much as I love the boys on the wings, that quality isn't there to take us up to that next step that we need to get to. So 2 quality wingers that are going to be starting game in, game out, you know, for the next season.
I mean, one name doing the rounds after the West Brom game, Pereira. Would anyone take him?
Take him tomorrow. Yeah.
I don't know if I'm too keen, to be honest. I think...
Ryan.
I don't know. Yeah, he blows hot and cold, and we've got 2 wingers like that blows hot and cold. On his day, can be an absolute worldie, just like Traore. He's a bit petulant at times as well. Spits his dummy out a bit. So even though he was brilliant against us, he was very dangerous, and his set pieces is something that we're crying out for. So if you could get his mentality right and his head straight and make him feel loved and one of the main men in the squad, then yeah. But just got my reservations a bit. That's all.
I mean,
I think Pereira. Sorry, Luke. Just quickly, I think Pereira is a player that thrives when good players are around him. And you know, if we're going to be bringing in the quality this summer that we're being talked about to do so, you know, and everybody's got that feeling that this summer's going to be a big summer. You know, I think Pereira would fit into playing around real quality players. And I think he would step up more. And I agree with Ryan. He has had a few games where he hasn't looked his against Aston Villa best because he was quality against us. So throw him into the deep end with some real top quality talent. We've already got a few of that anyway at the club. I think he'd thrive.
I do agree. I think if you look at his goals, I think he's got 10 goals this season in a very, very poor team. Put him in a better team, and I think he'd see him get a lot more. His dead balls, he's good at, you know, his free kicks are quality. His penalties, he hardly ever misses on them. So, and I think to be fair, I think he would want to leave West Brom, and I think the price would be pretty decent, to be fair. So I know Justin's a massive under 18 Villa fan, watches most of the games, so this one's for you. Who's a player in the youth academy you guys are most excited about?
I think taking aside the obvious ones that everybody talks about with Louis Barry and Chukwuemeka, one I've really been impressed with, and I know he's been in and around the first team, is Kessler. You know, again tonight I've watched him in the under-18s, and he's played sort of right wing for them tonight because I think he's that good at that level. He can play further forward, but he's a quality right back. You know, there's no getting away from it. He's captains the side as well in the under-23s. He gets forward really well. He scores goals as well. He's great on the ball. He's got great energy. He's tidy. He very rarely gives the ball away. He's very vocal. You know, for a player of that age to be playing at that level, you know, he's definitely one that's going to be knocking very, very soon on that first team door. Chukwuemeka, you know, again tonight, as we started recording this, he'd got a hat-trick, so he's probably got 7 by now. There's still another 20 minutes left. You know, we were talking just a minute ago about who you want to sign, and I agree with all of you. We need a midfield general. But quite frankly, we've got a midfield general that's 17 years old, and in 2 or 3 years' time, if he progresses anything like he looks like now, he's going to be one hell of a footballer for us, I tell you. I mean, Jude Bellingham's doing it at 17 in the first team, so why not give him a chance this season? He's made the bench a couple of times. Barkley's not going to sign, so quite frankly, I'd give the place on the bench to Chukwuemeka now and say to him, you know, have 10, 15, 20 minutes now and get on and start getting yourself in amongst the first team lads and start, you know, bedding yourself in because, you know, again, today he's been rumoured to be linked with a lot of German sides and Italian sides who we know from the Bellingham signing, the Germans will chuck you in whatever age you are. If you're good enough, you play first team football there. So we've got to be very, very careful with a player that's attracting interest from some of the top teams in Europe because they will play them in the first teams. So if that's on offer to sign somewhere and it progresses career very quickly into a first team position, then I think we need to head that off. We've already signed him on a long-term contract, so he would cost a lot of money to get anywhere else. But quite frankly, he's our player. We need to use him. So he would be, at the moment, the number one priority for me, getting him some game time.
I mean, the swagger in that under-18 team tonight was just phenomenal. They're
Ridiculous.
just so good. So Alex, who's a big fan of the podcast, has sent in, if we were to only get Abraham and Pereira, would that be a good window? I feel we need a spare left back too and possibly another winger. I think that would probably be, for me, I'd be pretty disappointed with Abraham and Pereira coming in. Not necessarily just for those two players, but for more the actual team in general. There's certain areas that definitely need addressing to give us that sustainability to start with in a top half finish and then to progress to, the European places. What's your thoughts on that, Ryan?
Yeah, definitely. I don't think two signings will be enough. Yes, we've got Kesler, possibly Chukwuemeka coming through. I think Louis Barry might just be a season behind him, looking at his physical side. But so yeah, you think them two are going to be in and around the first team, and then I still, two's not enough.
Yeah.
It's got to be more. Neil Taylor's going to go. Almo's going to go. They need replacing. If Mings gets injured, we've only got House really, haven't we? So if Mings and Konza are both out, we need a bit of backup there because I'd imagine Engels will go. Midfield, we need support in there, and we've touched on before. The general and creativity. So yeah, there's certainly more than two signings.
I mean, Tammy Abraham's name, especially with Villa fans. I mean, I love the guy. I think what he did for us was fantastic. But Aaron, is Tammy Abraham gonna be a Villa player? Do you see him coming to Aston Villa again?
In my heart, I do, mate. I do. And to be quite honest, I don't think the interest in him has ever disappeared. I think it's just circumstantial. I think the boy deserved a chance to go to Chelsea and prove his worth. First year, it looked like it would happen. Second year, it hasn't really happened. And there's no doubt about it. He'll want to be up there with the top England strikers. He'll want to be there, impressing Southgate to get in that first slot on the top of that pitch with Kane, up there with that level. And he isn't going to do that playing at Chelsea, unfortunately, because that just isn't working out for him, unfortunately. So I do feel like he could come to Villa. He knows the club. He understands the ethos. He understands how Dean Smith wants to play. Dean Smith has a lot of love and a lot of trust in him, as do the other coaching staff and the players that are there who knew him at when we were back in Championship. So yes, I do see him coming. His wages are obviously going to be a huge issue. He's on a lot of dosh, but with the owners' pockets as they are, and financial fair play perhaps being released a little bit, and never-ending list of monies coming into those owners' pockets, I can see it happening, mate. I can. I'd love to see it happen. I really would. And, yes, he's not the finished article, but he'd certainly be a tremendous addition for us up top, for sure.
That's my only reservation with Tammy is the money. Are we going to get value for money if you sign him? It's going to, they were asking 40 million for Barkley at the start of the season. So you imagine an English striker, they're going to want 60 odd million, and he's touching nearly 200,000 a week probably. So it's whether you get that value for money, and we're quite savvy. I know we've got good financial backing, but we haven't wasted any money yet, have we? We haven't flung money at that type of level a player. No, so interesting.
I think that's what separates us from other clubs. With money, we have money, but you're absolutely right, Ryan. We are so business savvy, and we are spending money where it needs to be spent, but trying to do the best we can to save it if it needs saving. And we ain't going to be throwing 200,000, 250,000 a week at anybody anytime soon. So you're absolutely right. I think his wages, if they can be met and he can be happy with that, and we can pay a fee that we find value in, then it will happen. But let's see how it goes. There's a long, let's see how it goes. It's interesting to see what will happen for sure.
He is currently Chelsea's top goal scorer this season, and he was Chelsea's top goal scorer last season. So I think given an arm around his shoulder and a bit of love, which is what I think he wants at Chelsea, what he's not getting, and coming back to Villa where he was so successful, I personally don't see it as a negative at all. I think it'll be a huge positive to get him in. Obviously, money aside, I would sign him straight away.
Cool.
Agreed.
So Peter Wilkes has put, is the Kazoo Derby the biggest in world football? Do you think the losers should drive around in shitty cars for a week? Well, I reckon the loser drives Barkley back to Chelsea. That's what I reckon. The loser drives him back.
Right. Aaron's already got the car, isn't he? He can drive him back.
Yeah, Aaron is our sponsorship for the video. He's Kazoo, so check him out.
You got the wrong memo for the carpool karaoke, didn't you, Aaron?
So yeah, well, quick go around the group now. Davies, does he start? Yes or no? Ryan?
Yes, but I'm with the two up top. I am. I can't see Ollie out wide. You know, looking at his Brentford record, it was like he was getting 8 to 9 goals a season, wasn't he? Then they moved him up top. He starts banging in the goals. He gets a move to a massive, massive Premier League club. Carries on banging in the goals. Gets an England call up, and I just want to see them together as a partnership. They've had like 20 minutes over 2 games, and the Fulham goal that Watkins scored, that was a ball in by Davies, and then Watkins gave Davies the assist for the goal against the Baggies. So I think the two of them could cause a bit of trouble, and I'm bang up for the 4-4-2. Yes, our midfield probably not that strong enough to handle a 4-4-2, but there's no pressure on us. Let's go and attack them. If they score 1, let's try and score 2, and let's give these two up top a really good chance. So yeah, I'm feeling the 4-4-2 vibes. Bit of Mike Bassett, England manager. I want to play 4-4-2.
Justin, does he start?
Yes, 4-3-3. Sorry,
Aaron.
Yes, he starts. And I'll go in between the two boys and say, however we set up, he needs to be playing. You know, he needs to be playing. Whether that's 2 up top, which I'd love to see, or as a top man with Ollie playing off the back of him, you know, in somewhere like a free roll or whatever, or out wide. But yes, Davies needs to start. We've got nothing to lose. We've got a few games left now. Let's go out and let the boys show us what he's got. Because I think ultimately, if he doesn't get the opportunity now, with the summer recruitment that's looking likely, he probably will find himself out on loan next year. And I don't think he'll want that. You know, he'll want to stay at Villa. Villa have been a huge part of his development, and he'll want to impress. So yeah, get him in the side for me.
Yeah, the one thing that Dean Smith's been criticised about, he's playing players out of form, like Al Ghazi, Nakamba at times, and then Davies, he come on and changed the game against Fulham and didn't get a sniff against Liverpool. So I feel like, you know, this is a chance to right or wrong now and give him a chance.
Agreed.
To lose. So get your thoughts, your comments down below, and your score predictions as well. We'll go around now and give our score predictions. So I'm going to go for a 1-0 Villa win. Ryan?
2-1 Villa. Up the Villa.
Justin?
I'm going to go 2-0 Villa.
Aaron?
Davies to score.
I'm going to go for a remake of the Ashley Young 3-2 winner all those years ago, and a 3-2 Villa win with Davies to score the last 3rd goal.
I hope we scored as we did in that game. I hope it's the same way we scored. That was a fantastic game, that was.
Quality. It was doing the rounds on Twitter today, that was,
yeah.
wasn't it?
Remember it like it was yesterday, mate, that goal. Unbelievable.
Quality. So Davies steals it off the central defender and bangs it in. And then,
mate, I've never seen the ground so silenced by a goal.
They thought they'd snatched it, didn't they?
When he gave that ball away and Young was through, the silence, and then it hit the back of the net. You could just hear the Villa fans roaring. It's an iconic goal, isn't it? Like those Larson was like, yes, come on. Quality, man. Absolute quality.
Just the way he tapped it past Lescott. You know, like it was just, yeah, and then it was incredible. I remember it like it was like a minute ago. Sensational. Yeah. What a day.
So thanks everyone for watching, and then we'll be back soon. Up the Villa.